Welcome again, everyone, to the FSAirlines Virtual Airlines Management System. This tutorial today will show you how to get set up in starting and operating your own virtual airline within the FSAirlines Management System. We'll go through the difference between the gold and the platinum plans, how you should really have a business plan for your virtual airline, ranks and type ratings, first aircraft purchase, and making flight routes. So the first thing we need, of course, to do is to get on the FS Airlines website. That's www.fsairlines.net. And once you have logged in, we want to go to the cruise center. But before we do that, one thing you're going to need to have to do as an owner is you're going to have to purchase a plan. You can fly as a pilot for free, absolutely no charge whatsoever. Now the gold membership is €1 per month, or you can save and buy it per year for only €6. But you cannot access the advanced features, and you can only have up to 5 pilots, including yourself, for a gold membership. For each additional gold membership, you can add another 5 pilots. So if you and your friend have each gold memberships, then you can have up to 10 pilots. Now the platinum plan features the advanced financials. It features you can have up to 50 pilots with a platinum membership. It is €350 per month, or if you go on the yearly plan, it's €30 per month. For those of you in the U.S., it translates out to about between $30 and $34 a year at the current exchange rates. So before you do anything, the first thing you're going to have to do is register and purchase either the gold or the platinum plan to get started as an owner. And then once you have done that, today we're just going to start with the very basics. We're not going to get into the advanced financials. So once you have your membership, we'll go to the cruise center. And now we will create a virtual airline over here on the left tab. And the first thing you want to do is have an airline name that no one else has. And there's a way to look and see. There's a tab here on the left that has all the virtual airlines currently in existence on FS Airlines. So the airline we want to use today is called Mid-Michigan Airlines. There is no real airline with that name. If you use a real airline's name, you must have written permission from that airline and document it with FS Airlines before they'll let you use that name and logo. So we're going to go with Mid-Michigan Airlines. And then our 3-letter designator will be MMA. No, we don't fight at all. And then we are in the United States. And then you click Create VA. Your airline has now been successfully created. Your starting budget is $25 million, and you can now create the airline's flight plan and buy airplanes. So we click Continue. Now you can add a logo up here on the right. The first thing we're going to do is edit our VA settings. We do not have a home page. Our pilot salary is 10%. The multiplier now is very different from what it used to be. It used to be up to 1,000 at one point. It might be still with dynamic. If you set it at dynamic, it starts really high, and then as your airline gains more income, it gradually decreases to the default rate of 25. Now, if you do that, you can make more money right away, and that gives you more money to buy airplanes and stuff like that. So we're going to just start with a dynamic because we can. And if you want a logo, you can choose a logo. Now you must remember that the logo has to be no larger than 150 wide and 200 high and a max of 30 KB. So we're going to look at our logo off screen here real quick and just make sure it's the right size so that the system will accept it. We just made a little logo for our airline here. There it is. Let's see, image, resize. It can be 150, 150 by 186. And then we'll save that. we'll get that out of the way. So we fit within the limits now, so we can choose this file. It's somewhere here on our desktop, maybe. I thought it was. There it is. And now we have our logo loaded. Our airline mission, we are going to be serving rural Michigan with turboprop aircraft and connecting to major airports with jets. We're in the United States. We're not going to finance by fleet. If you have a gold account, this will all be grayed out. We are not going to use advanced finances. It is open to new pilots. You can type in a welcome message here, and we are not going to hold the parking records by aircraft. So we start out with a chief executive officer. That should be me. And there we have it. Now we have our airline set. We can click edit. And now if we go back to continue, our logo is up here in the corner. So we have an airline, but we don't have any flights, we don't have any routes, and we don't have any aircraft. But we do have $25 million. Now, where are we going to base this aircraft? That's this airline. Well, it's mid-Michigan. We're going to make our home base MBS, which is Midland Bay City, Saginaw. It's an airport up in the middle of Michigan. Currently, right now, I am still at McCall Airport, where I flew for the other airline. So the first thing I will have to do is buy a ticket to my new base of KMBS. And now I'm in KMBS. Now, one thing about Platinum members, you get a discount. You do not have to pay for your ticket costs. So you can transfer all around you want with tickets and not have to pay the ticket prices. That's part of the Platinum membership. Okay, so we're at MBS International Airport, Saginaw, Michigan. Now we don't have any aircraft. So the first thing we're going to do is buy our first aircraft. So what we would do is we come over here to fleets. We have no aircraft. We're going to come to the right side and we're going to buy lease aircraft. Now there's two lists you can use here. You can use the brand new airplanes, and if you buy a brand new airplane, you can have it delivered anywhere you like. So we are looking at possibly either a Beech King Air or a Beech 1900, plus either a Cessna 208 Caravan or a Quest Kodiak, or possibly even a Pilatus PC-12. To start our airline with. I think we'll get a Pilatus PC-12. And so you would click on the buy aircraft. Remember, we only have $25 million. How many planes would you like to buy? One, please. And we want it to go to the airport we're at, KMBS. Buy aircraft. So now if we go to fleets, we will see that we have an airplane, 100% status, at KMBS. Now, just because we have an airplane doesn't mean we can fly it anywhere. Now we are going to have to make a route. So to make a route, we would go to Flight Plan. And we can insert a route. Now, it's a good idea to always use your airline identifier to start out your flight routes. Our first flight route will just be a little test flight. We'll go from KMBS down to, let's fly up to Traverse City, KTVC. This is a default route. You can put the whatever waypoints you want in the route, or you just delete that right away. And then you can assign either all of your aircraft or specific aircraft to each individual route. This is going to be the Pilatus PC-12. and then it's a scheduled route. Now you can set your max sim rate so that if people want to fly in accelerated time, you can allow it as an airline owner. We like to fly in real time, so we're not going to do that. You don't want to limit your passengers, you don't want to limit your cargo, and then you just click Insert Route. It's always best to use the standard rate. You can play with ticket prices when you see the competition. However, as a starting out airline, I'll show you in a minute, we have very little power to grab market share. So there's no one else on this route, so whatever there's out there, hopefully we will get. And now we have a route. Now, if you want to look at all your routes, you should go to Flight Plan, all fleets, all aircrafts, and now we have our first route selected here in video. Now let's say we want to book a flight. No flights available. It's because I don't have a type rating for that particular aircraft. If you remember back in our first video, I only have a type rating for Cessna 208. So as an airline owner, now I can assign type ratings. So I can come to my profile and I can assign a type rating. PC-12, yes. TR means training flights only. And I can update it. And now I have a type rating for this Pilatus PC-12. You notice I no longer have a type rating for the Cessna 208 because that type rating was for that airline. So now we can go back to our overview screen. And now we can book a flight to Traverse City in the PC-12. Oh, we do have packages. Well, that's probably because I have the Platinum. I'm not sure if the Gold Edition has packages or not, but we do have the package plan, so you can select packages and see if there's any going to where we're going. There is not. But we do have 8 passengers, and we do have 459 pounds of generic cargo on board, so this flight will make money just fine. And if we look at our briefing document, we see it's 97 miles. It's estimating it will use about 276 pounds of fuel. So we go fly this flight. Oh, one more thing about aircraft. You can change the registration to just about anything you want. So if I were to look in my FSAirlines or my FSX and see a registration number of an airplane I like to fly, I could make an application to change that simply by going to Fleets. And then I would click on this little detailed information tab. And now we can see all the information about this airplane. Over here on the right side, we can change the aircraft registration. You can type in whatever number you want. And if there's no aircraft with that registration number in FSAirlines, it should accept it. Right now, we're going to just leave that as it is. But that just shows you how to go about doing that. So we have our first flight. We have our airline all set up. Now, if you'll notice that it says reputation, 80 of 120. It takes one good flight to bring that reputation up 1 point. If you have a crash, your airline will lose 25 reputation points. So it's very important that you learn how to use that exit tab in the flight tracker client, and you don't log any crashes into the official record. Our pilot pay is 10%. We do that so we can make more money as far as the airline goes. As you can see, we no longer have $25 million. We spent some for our airplane. Now, if we go to finances, down here on the left, we will see we are just underway here, so we don't have much of a graph. We show that we only have one expenditure of $2.7 million for our Pilatus PC-12. Now, if we wanted to buy another airplane, we would simply go to Fleets. And then we would come down here to buy lease aircraft. Now this time, let's go look in the used airplane list. These are the list of all the aircraft that are for sale that are used. So for example, if we wanted this 1900 for $3.24 million, it's currently at KMHV. So we're going to buy that airplane. And now we can either go make flights from KMHV, which is out in California, or another thing we can do is we can have this aircraft transferred for us by FSAirlines. So we want this airplane brought to our home base of KMBS. Transfer. We do not want an instant transfer because, as you can see, instant transfers cost twice as much. It's going to cost us $3,637 to have this airplane flown to MBS for us, and it's going to take 15.2 hours. So yes, please do that. So now we've spent that money. Oh, one more thing about your fleet. You can make a wide variety of fleets. When you get more aircraft, you can split your fleets up into different divisions. But when it comes to your fleet, you want to make sure your fleet has a home base, because this home base is where you're going to get 50% off your parking fees. At the end of every month, you'll see a bill on your financial statement for how much you were charged for your parking fees for your airlines, depending on where your airplanes were parked. Bigger airports, of course, charge more than smaller airports, and MBS happens to be, it's a mid-sized airport. In the real world, it has service from Delta and United to places like Chicago, Minneapolis, and Detroit. And it's an area I grew up in, so that's where we're going to fly. So there is how you get started with your own virtual airline. And in our next video, we'll take you through some of the more complex financial features as you go ahead and grow and things. Oh, and about the business plan, we should talk about your business plan really, really quick before we go. You need to decide what you're going to fly, where you're going to fly it to and from, and why you're going to fly it to and from. You should have a purpose for establishing your airline. You should have some short-term goals to get started. For us, it's our turboprop planes to service the smaller communities. And then you should have longer-term goals to strive for. For us, it's eventually to make enough money to buy and fly our own 737s. You want to set your realism goals right away, and you want to keep them that way. You don't have to be very strict. You can keep it as lenient as you like. It's all for fun, of course. But just remember, when your new pilots sign on, you want them to understand that they are flying for you, and they must fly within your rules. And that airline multiplier we already went through. So we're going to leave it at dynamic and go from there. So you have your airline. You're all set to go. Thanks so much for watching and listening again. And we'll see you again soon on the FSAirlines Virtual Airlines Management System. Keep the blue side up, and happy flying, everybody.